Good morning. We still cannot hear you.
Good morning, Omotola.
Hi, good morning, team.
Good morning. I think there is a little challenge with the audio.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
It's faint,
yes,
but we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
yes, we can.
Yes, much better.
Hello,
Yes, I can hear you now.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes, 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 I can hear you.
So what's happening? You can hear me, but I can't hear you. You need to look for you.
I can still hear you.
Can you hear me, Fee? Yes, I can hear you
Yes, I
too,
can hear
Fee.
you.
Okay, okay.
I
Yeah,
can
we
hear you,
can hear.
Omotola. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. So.
All
Okay.
right. Once again, welcome to the Good Morning. So with all the greeting that I gave, all the gymnastics I did, nobody helped. Anyway, this is the Good Morning. And a bell of blessings to the internet, to everyone on the show today. We have positive time today. We have the follow follow. We have Dr. Omotola the Great. We always forget to put it in the great there. It's a great question and staying up late just to be a part of the show all the way from the United States of America. All right, as we always do on the show, we're going to start with headlines. And yes, we're going to start with something that probably will excite some of us. Um, and it's going to be on a competition level. So let's look at the Korean competition, the writing contest. So we have right now Korean speech writing contest produces winner from these days. Vinny, let's hear from you about that.
Okay, so when I hear or read about the Korean speech and writing contest producing winners, good one. Um, I've always been one for having having people, especially children, speak multiple languages. It opens them up to more opportunities when they can speak more languages, and especially where they can speak. Well, I call them the language of the world economy. So where you can speak languages of currencies that rule the world. But one thing that quite concerned about here is pushing the Korean speech and writing contest, and then we have our own local dialects dying off. We have our own local dialects not having identity. We're moving our children away from speaking what we call vernacular and want all of them to speak Queen's English. But then when we have this, we have Nigerian children and students excelling in it. I would just like to see a balance in that as much as we learn other languages and we are able to better position our children and our students would also, it also will be a good thing for us not to lose our identity by losing our languages. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Motola, any thoughts on that as well?
Yes, I absolutely agree with Fee that yes, while it's still applaudable that there's like I love the diversity of letting students learn language, especially if they have an affinity for it and like expressing it and having it and being able to use it because you never know when they'll be able to use it or what it can do with their career path, especially if they're going into international relations or the way that the world is becoming more of like a global like space. And at the same time, like what Fee mentioned about balancing things, because it's so true. Like, and I hope these things change the perspective. Like we were made to like beat ourselves down for like having Yoruba accent or whatever, whether it's Igbo accent or outside accent, whichever tribe you're from, like, and then thinking that, oh, you need to like speak like a US person, or speak like a UK person, or speak like what she was saying. But honestly, the beauty of the things like living here in the United States, one of the irony is that many people from like other countries like Singapore, China, all of these other places, they are so proud of their language, and they speak it so boldly and proudly, and they're not trying to be anything but themselves in their own voice. So I'm really hoping that as much as we are open to diversity and learning other languages, we will not allow our own language to die off just because we want to sound somehow or sound like phonetic or all of those kind of things as well.
Fantastic. We have another headline that says repositioning Edo education through improving standards. That's the Edo State government in the news on education. Um, let's hear from you, Dr. Motola, still on this.
I think it's impressive. I know they're in their third years, and at third year of doing this, and according to them, they are measuring. I like that they stated the 5 pillars of the things they are measuring. So they said organization development, teacher professional development, and quality assurance, curriculum development, and learning outcome, as well as community engagement and partnership. I and then as well like school infrastructures and facility. Like all of these are big areas that are so critical and have been overlooked within the school system, whether it's even both private or public, and either whether it's from primary to tertiary. So I really applaud them for really being willing to like dive deep and go into this. I just really hope that they're not just using bandage for something that needs surgery. And so I hope that as they'll continue to progress, they'll continue to learn best practices, but put it to use. So they will practice evidence based, not just like, oh, we learned this, but we are not going to use it. But I think it's something that is noteworthy, and I hope that it's that good results.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Let's hear your thoughts as well.
It's good to see other states coming up to be innovative and to be proactive about education in the states. We have had a lot coming from Lagos State. They have this training for teachers. They have this program for students and all of that. And then having Edo State coming up with their basic education sector transformation initiative is a wonderful one. I have always believed that once we get the primary level, once we get the primary level right, then we just continue to build on it. There are people who we know now who are much older adults, and all they could have was primary education, and they compete with people who are modern, present day university graduates, because the kind of education they had then was really standard and really super. So kudos to Edo State. I hope this is not something that will die with the current administration, that they would keep it up. Somebody else doesn't come and try to introduce their own initiative, and then the whole thing dies off from there. And that other states also catch the fire and are able to implement initiatives that will build the education system in their states.
Thank you so much. So much to say, so much to take from that, and I believe that that approach will really help, shape a lot of things. So let's just move to another conversation here, and that's Monarch VC solicit French government's collaboration for exchange programs culture at Augustine University. The
So one thing that we do very well in Nigeria is crying out for help and presenting ourselves like if help is not coming from outside, then we're completely helpless, or going cap in hand for that thing of having foreign inputs, even if the foreign is just Benin Republic. To us, it's, oh yeah, we've had something from abroad. As much as collaborations are good, I think it is overbeating it to actually say, oh, we are looking forward to your collaboration in even though, yes, there are French universities, French institutions all over the country. We have a lot of students and a lot of Nigerians picking up French and learning French, but then actually going to solicit their collaboration, I think it's just us taking it a little too far. Let's celebrate what we have. Let's make use of what we already have. Yes, having the French institutes and having the French universities in the country is enough leverage for us to say, oh, let's make use of what we have. Put this to let's maximize the use of the presence of this people within us. I'm not exactly going to, we really would like, we have a way of doing those things. We really would like for you to uh, um, strengthen or reinforce what you have been doing. But apart from that, yeah, I like that what's it called, the diversity in the joint collaboration between the French and the Nigerian government and their involvement in our education system.
Thank you so much. Let's just quickly rush through the next one, which is Omotola's talk. NGO trains 500 indigent students on prevention of illicit drug use. Dr. Omotola, over to you.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I'll say it's a good thing. But my only question is also like, is he needed? Because I'm not so sure it's about the prevention of illicit drug that they need to be training on. Like, that adage that says like an empty hand is a devil's workshop or some like. So
I
it's
don't.
can you hear me? It's the same thing that
Yes.
Yes,
I so yeah. So I don't believe that. I think it's good, but this is putting bandage over something that needs surgery, in my own opinion. So this is good, but it should not stop there, because it's not enough to tell them that, oh, you shouldn't use illicit drug, or like, let's prevent this. If there is no other alternative for them to use their energy or their time, and then it's easier for them to fall back into that kind of like pattern and habit and behavior. And so I'll say, yes, it's noteworthy, but my hope is that it goes just beyond just this training alone, and they can definitely do more in actually tackling the root problems and not just the surface ones alone.
okay. Okay, your comment?
Well, last week when we had this, the news item about the 300 or 400 level student who jumped out of his hostel due to drug use, one of the things I said then was we're going to have an increase in advocacy for against drug use and all of that, and we're seeing that now. Yesterday, I got a call from a radio station that would they want to talk about drug use and all of that. And I kept asking myself, why do we wait until we have an emergency. I knew that was going to become sensational, and people will pick it up and begin to do immediately you start having webinars and all of that about drug use. But this is something that should be woven into the fabric of youth training. We have, so why do young people use drugs? How are they becoming so innovative with different things that can get them on a high? What are the things that we really need to be looking at? Is it frustration? Is it the economy? Is it family? Is it whatever it is? Are the things that we need to do on an ongoing basis? So it shouldn't be that because one person has we now have a casualty out of this, then it becomes the burning topic for the next 3 weeks. Then we forget about it, and then the next time something happens, and then we pick that up again. If it's something that they keep hearing over and over, not in talking to them, not in talking at them, but talking with them, understanding why they do these things, and not just understanding why they do it. Find an alternative for them to express what they are using the drugs
Peer
to fill
pressure.
up. Then give them an alternative to what they are feeling, they are using the drugs to feel, then we won't continue to have this problem as persistently as we're having it.
I guess
So
Safety Chief
I'll
wants
just
to
add
say
to that
something.
it's majorly about peer pressure, and that's because teenagers are in that stage of life where they are trying to, find themselves, get acceptance, and all that. So if early enough we're not teaching them how to maintain boundaries, how to say no and be okay with saying no, even if people want to talk down on them and make them feel like, oh, you're just a baby, oh, you're not a big boy or big girl. If we haven't had those conversations early, then it's a problem. Then I always say that this is a multi-stakeholder approach. It's not just enough that maybe the parents teach their children and equip them. It has to, when it is done in the home front, it should happen in school. It should be mentioned in places of worship. It should be seen in our music videos, in our movies. I saw a recent video that Freedom Foundation did with actors and producers and directors, and they were saying that if they were going to use any scene where drugs was involved, that scene had to end with either the person changing, or if the person refuses to change, the person would have certain illnesses that would cause the person to die, indirectly trying to build it into the psyche of people that this thing is not just a nice to have or trying to have fun. It has dire consequences. So if every player is doing their part, you would see that when we have that united front of pushing the same messaging out there, it makes it easy for these young people to see that we're not joking. During the World Drug Day for this year, one of the major theme was about sharing facts. And one of the facts that came up is that young people of today do not think this drug abuse has dire consequences as we the adults know. And Africa is projected to have a 40, is it 40 or even 60% increase in over the next 10 years, as opposed to other continents in the world. That is a problem. So the earlier we start, the better. It shouldn't be a one-off. It should be a strategic approach that is consistent over a long period of time. Otherwise, we'll keep on going around in circles. When somebody died, everybody runs around. After that, no problem again. And it shouldn't be really. It should be ingrained systematically into the system from when they are children onto built into the various systems they are going to pass through as they grow. Because the critical age is the teenage years. And so since over the next 10 years, Africa is going to have the highest population of that demographic, that is why we're going to have the highest population in the world in terms of drug use.
And Ugochi drops the mic. Yeah, such a profound thing. Let's move on to a lighter news on celebration mode. Foreshore School pupils excel at Cambridge checkpoint exam. Congratulations to except for point. Congratulations to Foreshore School.
And
I don't
and
know where
also,
for.
oh, I was going to say that I think JAM officials need to go and learn from the school administration, because if their student couldn't achieve 100% like excellent pass rate, and yeah, JAM needs like some tutoring from them. That would just be my own jab at
Yeah,
JAM.
well, the dynamics of
I'm
primary
sure
schools.
Jam wants to go and learn from them.
All right, so let's move on to something
Well,
else.
I actually agree with you. You know, when I said, "Are you sure Jam wants to learn from?" It's because there's something that happens in this part of the world where when people think that they are older than you or they've been in the system longer than you, they feel like, "What do I have to learn from you?" Right? And that's so bad. That's why you work in something. They say, "When did you come?" It's not a matter of when did you come. It's a matter of what I suggest or what you're doing. Is it working? If it's working, what can we pick from it? So I believe that institutions like that should, look around and shadow other people, pick up best practice. It doesn't make you any less if you will pick up, good points from what people that are younger than you are doing. So I feel like, yes, it's a good one, Dr. Motala, that they should go and, learn from this school, really.
All right, thank you. Bridge drives parent involvement in child learning. This is also from these days. Well done, Bridge. I believe you want to say something also.
Yeah, it's commendable what Bridge Nigeria is doing, and particularly for this parent fest that they held. One thing that we have talked about a number of times is how parents leave their children or abandon their children to school and to the religious institutions and believe that, well, we're paying school fees, so this child is your responsibility. If it turns out well, the parents take the praise and, oh, that's my child. And if it didn't turn out very well, then it's the school's fault. Go and fight the school. I once had a parent tell me that if her daughter did not win award that term, that she was going to pack her bags and the girl was going to follow me home. And I said, no problem, we're going to have fun. If you think that it is all at the doorstep of the school, then there is a problem. So for Bridge Nigeria, involving parents, allowing them, bringing them in, letting them see they said the typical day in the life of a Bridge student and letting them, bringing it home, and look, you are as involved in the education of this child as the school is, as society is, as every other person is. It's a worthy one. Already they're doing a really good job. And then with this, letting the parents see firsthand typical day of the teachers with the student, with the pupils, with the students in the classroom. It's an excellent one. I think we need more schools to do that. Maybe when parents see what teachers are going through in the classroom, in the first hour of school, you see how the teacher is looking like they have been at that work for 15 years. In the first hour, it may help parents to better appreciate what teachers are doing, better appreciate what schools are doing, and also to be more, to sit up better and face up to the roles in the children's education.
Thank you very much. Titi, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ex-birthday boy. Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you mean by X?
Good morning.
All right. It's still my bed anyway. I'm still receiving gifts. My door and address still open TP just in case we send it something. All right. FG presents concept notes on establishment of aviation varsity. I really want to hear TP's feedback from TP.
Oh, I don't. Can you hear me? I don't know if this is my network thing. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you
Can
now.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. The network was going.
No, as in
Yeah.
the headline says FG presents concept notes on establishment of aviation varsity.
I don't have any comment, or I'll actually like to hear from Safety Chick on this because that's a high industry. So this is Rotimi, I have no comment. So I think it's something that I think it would be good to hear Safety Chick's point of view, honestly, because she's more familiar with industry, what it needs, the value of establishing an aviation varsity. So maybe she's the person for this question.
Okay, so safety check, the ball is in your court.
Okay, so I'll just say that instead of this their concept note, what they should do is actually work with what is on ground. So for example, we have an aviation college. How about
Mm.
upgrading it to a university level so that
Mm-hmm.
we're not
Mm-hmm.
spending as much money sending pilots outside the country? If you know how much South Africa, Oman, Jordan, the US make from pilots from the continent who have to go for these their simulators and C checks almost every six months. It's a lot of money that could have come into the system. And so since the aviation industry is quite cost intensive, it's very important to join forces, with what you have on ground, build something such that people can even come here. And in fact, very recently, one of our engineers, who used to be the head of one of the let me call them a pressure group in the aviation industry, has just been given a license to run an institution. So how about the government just works with him, because I mean he has gotten international partners and buy-in and all that, as opposed to now doing something separate. I think that it's time to like put those resources together instead of just spreading it across, because it is really cost intensive. And if we build a world class facility here, what that means is all the African pilots will travel this way for their for their trainings, as opposed to going out of the continent. And it's great again because this organization has even gotten approvals to run aircraft maintenance for on the continent, something that many times they have to fly planes outside the country, for it to get done. So I'm basically saying that government should work with institutions on ground and scale it up, support their effort, as opposed to starting afresh, because it really is cost intensive.
And just
Thank
to add
you.
to what Ogachi said, like because I read it and well, I think the minister assured them that in 1 month they're going to create the university. I think that is totally underestimating the time it's going to take. And I'm like, what are they trying to put together in 1 month? These look like woo to the answer. So I'm hoping that maybe they will consult with with Ogochi and, or people like that to say, you know what, actually, how do we turn what we already have and create something great out of it? Because it's like I'm like, no, like this does not sound like a good plan. Like you're saying that in 1 month, like they said by the end of July, and I'm like, wait, no, this I don't think they're really serious. They're just saying it for the sake of saying it. But I really hope, like Ugochi said, there's so much like value and so much like the new generation and like like even job that it will create. So I really hope they take it seriously.
Well, you see, we are getting towards election season, so don't be surprised. The rate at which projects will be flagged up, will be initiated. People have to make sure there is a good scorecard of the things they started or they're about to start or that they're promising to complete. So sometimes this happens 2 years, 1 year to election. It's always constant. That's that. All right, Green Springs decorated as one of first HP idea schools in Middle East. Thing.
I really must commend Green Springs. They are taking leaps and bounds and setting records in a number of ways, and that really are innovative and creative to education. They're not just doing things for the sake of getting certified or for the sake of being in the news, but doing this targeted events, projects, certifications, and I think they're the ones that have the Thinking Academy. I think that they're the ones spearheading that, and now they have sent in teachers who are certified in the Innovation and Digital Education Academy. It's worthy of commendation and it's worthy of emulation. So I would say kudos to Green Springs and that they don't rest on their oars. They keep going and as much as they can. Let us go around. If they have other schools that are willing to be part of what they're doing, that are willing to be to put away their that thing of, oh, they're not competing. If they're willing to collaborate and learn something that will help their schools and help their students, then it will really be good to see. Because sometimes I wonder, are they the only ones that have are they the only ones that have the information to these things? Are they the only ones? Is it hoarded? Or are they getting it from some coded places that others don't have access to? But it really is a good one from Green Springs, and I really commend them. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And on that note, we'll come to the conversation of the day. But just before then, I would like us to talk a bit about the grant for the day. What life you're there?
Yeah, I'm here. So the grant of the day, it's called the Pollination Project. And I really like this because within 30 days, you hear back from them. And this is like you get up to $1,000. So between $500 to $1,000, which is really good. So if you have a small project or something that you've been meaning to do, give it your best shot. It's a rolling deadline. That you can apply at any time, and it usually take them at like 30 to like 45 days for you to get a yes or no from them. And you can use this for social justice issues, human rights, civic leadership, development, environmental justice, and advocacy, education, or system and policy reform, and act for social change. And nonprofits can apply, indigenous groups can apply, and then individuals also can apply and can use the funding for education, outreach project or program as well. And you can be anywhere in the world. Irrespective of whatever country you're in, you have the opportunity to apply as well. And you can go to their website to learn more, and just go through the screening quiz to see if you qualify and go from there. So good luck to you.
Thank you so much. We just hope that people take advantage of some of these opportunities, and of course, without forgetting the fact that there is also a grant development webinar that we'll be having. And if you've not registered, please do register. Get someone to register. Get someone you know to register. Because we're going to take a look at some of these grants, the opportunities that are available, and how to take advantage of them to position your pursuit, your initiatives, and all those things to receive, a boost or a push, as the case may be. So, the grant development webinar, I will be hosting that with Dr. Motola. We're going to be going, into a strong immersion to help people leverage on several opportunities beyond just what we're sharing every day as the grant for the day. And it's open to anybody and everybody. All right. So we are back to the topic of today. We're talking about leveraging your networking. And I'm sure, of course, the first thing that will come to people's mind is the obvious word, which is networking. What exactly is networking to you? I'm going to ask our analysts to share their thoughts on what networking truly is, if possible, beyond the conventional way people say, and how do we leverage this network? So I'm going to start with TT. I'm going to move to uh, Gochi, Dr. Motola, and Dr. Ping. TT.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rotimi. I think just to draw from what Fee said. Fee said, "Oh, is it only Green Springs that is doing this thing?" It's not only them, but they just know how to leverage their networks in getting the word out there. And that's the secret about network. There's something that I heard yesterday, quote from someone that I want to see. They say that the communicating team is the winning team. The communicating team is the winning team, and that's the truth. A lot of things people do, but maybe they just do it quietly. Nobody knows about it, but the communicating team is the winning team. Is the winning team, and that's really what your network is. When you have a group of people, people are in network, but they are not just using it. Any group that you join that's not your family group is your network. Secondary school group, primary school group, university group, church group, whatever it is, that is your network. But the question is, are you leveraging on your network? So one, if you are not communicating in your network, you are not leveraging on the network. If people in your network don't know what it is that you do, you are not leveraging on your network. And it's a two-way thing. It's not just the announcing up and down in your network what you do. You also must be seen to be supporting other people. So let me just give a quick example. So in my network, whatever networks I'm in, I try to say the things that we are doing, the milestones that we are making, and it works. So yesterday I went and I was a speaker at a Women's Connect Forum organized by the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Commerce. How did I get there? Is it that I'm a superstar in the industry? No. But you know what? I'm in a network. And so someone from the network who was organizing this event then remembered, okay, we need a representative, a woman, we need a representative in education. And of course, who did she think of? Titi, because I've been communicating. So the communicating team is the winning team. So if you're in a network and everybody in that network doesn't know what you do and what you've done or what you're achieving, the traction you've made, then you're not leveraging your network. So when it's time for an opportunity, they won't think of you. So look at this grant that we said today. Immediately I thought of the grant. I'm thinking of who in my network can I send this thing to? That's what I was thinking right now. Who in my network is doing anything for social justice that I can send this grant to? Now, if you're in my network and you don't talk, we don't know what it is that you're doing. We don't know you're even in that group. There's some people that when they say wish them happy birthday, I'm like, are they still in this group? So you must be in groups, you must be in networks, you must be intentional about your network, and not just to be there. You must be a voice in your network and not just be a taker. You must also be a giver. The Bible says it's more blessed to give than to receive. So you must be supporting people in your group, recognizing them. When they say help me review this thing, when they say help me share, when they say help me do this, you are a supporter. Because when you are doing that as well, the other people would want to reciprocate and help you when it's your turn. Let me stop here.
Just to take it up
I
from
think you've
where.
just said it so perfectly. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Dr.
No, sorry.
Mhm.
Continue. Finish with your thoughts.
Okay, so I think you just said it perfectly, because you see, many times people join groups and they just go there, they are floor members. And not like being, when I say floor members now, it's more like being a bench warmer. Nobody knows what's going on. When they say come and volunteer, you don't want to volunteer. Come and serve, you don't want wahala, you don't want wahala. You can't get you can't give receive value when you are not a giver of value. When people when you get to work, when you get to serve in groups and in communities, that's when people get to know you on a personal level. They know, oh, what you like, what you stand for, aside what you do as a profession. So what happens is, because they now know your profession and they now know how you are as a human being, it makes it easier when opportunities come for them to recommend you, because they have experienced you in a different way, as opposed to when you are just there. Nobody even knows. For example, maybe you are in an association of accountants. We all know we're all accountants, but we don't even know maybe you are good at public speaking, or you're good at organizing events, or you're good at program evaluation. We don't even know any other thing aside that. So I think that people should stop that. People should stop the fear of wanting to serve. I think a lot of people are afraid to serve because they think, oh, the wahala will be too much. If you are worried about the wahala being too much, you can take on roles that do not, shall I say, take over your entire life. But there is a way to serve, there's a way to be of value. When people need something, are you the first person they think of that can do that thing for them? And they wouldn't know, except maybe you have displayed it somewhat. So I agree with you that it's about being a person of value, always being, because when people are introducing themselves at events, everybody wants to maybe say the best introduction and all that. What you're supposed to be doing is to be listening to what the person speaking to you is saying and beginning to think, how can I help this person? Because people would gravitate towards someone that is a problem solver, someone that is willing to help, as opposed to someone that is just, reciting their profile. So I think it's really important that you come from a place of value. Realize that value can be given in several ways. You don't have to be the doctor that is going to solve their problem, but maybe you just know the doctor that can solve it, giving the referral, making an introduction. It's something, it might look little or insignificant, but it's something. I remember sending, I got one message on WhatsApp about a job, I think in a French speaking country, something, something. And it was just one guy from Mandela Fellowship that came to mind. I sent it to him. I didn't even know he got the job. It was when we had to do a virtual meeting some months ago. He said, "Oh, Gucci, thank you." That time, they paid us in dollars. It was out there. I didn't even know. But apparently, that time he had been let go from a job because he was about to go for school outside the country. And that period, it helped him and his family sorting them out before he had to travel out. So it was such a huge blessing in his life at the time. So it's just important that you always think of ways to help. It doesn't have to be so big, but that's your little. You don't know how significant it's going to be in that person's life once it leaves you and gets into their hands.
Yeah, and then just to add to what Ogochi and Titi has said, so I'll start with a quote by John Maxwell, which, like, this is his favorite phrase. I'll not even say it's a quote that says, "Who do you know that I need to know?" And I think that's a wonderful question, and that's how one of the best way you can leverage your network. You shouldn't wait until you need something or you need someone or or you need something from people before you start developing those relationships or getting to know other people and their interest. And like Ogochi and Titi have said, it's about value. It's a value exchange, and that's how best you can leverage is to always think of, like, how can I help this person? One of my own core principle that I am daily striving to like live out and emulate is this idea of like leaving people with an impression of increase. Like whatever I do, wherever I meet, irrespective of your position, your place, or whatever, is like, how can I leave them with an impression of increase? That by the time they interact with me, or they read something from me, or they hear from me, they are increased in one way or the other. And then I'll say one other thing that I think is important in leveraging your network. Don't just think about what can I get from people, especially people that are like you're looking up to as your mentor, your advisor, or things like that. Also look for leveraging your network in terms of your peer group as well. How can I have to these people? Like, how can we learn from each other, mastermind, and help each other grow our business, our career, our academics, and things like that. Then also leverage like your network downward, which is like mentees or people that are looking up to you, and pour into them as well. So I'll give you an example. I never even knew that I had a passion or an interest in speaking until one day my younger sister, then like some years ago, told me that she wanted me to come and speak to our class. They were graduating primary six in primary school, and she was like, "I know that you like to encourage people. Anytime every time you talk to me or my other siblings, I'm always encouraging them and motivating them." And she felt like she needed me to come and speak to our whole class, that they didn't have money to pay me, but they'll give me meat pie and coke as my gift. And honestly, that was what launched my speaking career. Honestly, like when I used to go and speak and do a lot of speaking across and do that. But it started with that, and I will never forget that instance. I'll never forget like that opportunity. That was my like speaking to like 20 primary school students about how to like their next level, and how they're stepping into secondary school and how they can prepare for it and things like that. And through that developed my courage. That made it like, wow, this is actually, I can be good at this. Like I can actually do this. And then before you know it, the next time I was speaking with a church youth group, I was speaking at this, and then it just, until I finally got like where I was able, like people, they flew me outside of Nigeria to come and speak internationally and paid for everything and those kind of things. So don't forget to also network down. Don't think that you always have to be what people that can give to you or can lift you up. You can also be someone that lifts other people up, and you never know what seed that will plant. You never know when it will come back to you as you're sowing the seed, and how that person who might not necessarily be able to give you anything back can actually add value to your life later in the way. So remember, always ask the question, who do you know that I need to know? And then think of it as, I'm networking up to mentors, networking to your peers, like that you're on the same level, and then also
Levels.
network down as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
We generally say two heads are better than one. But for me, one good head is better than two bad heads. And that's where I'm taking the view of networking from. You could have a network of friends, of people around you that, oh, you see everywhere you look, there's a sea of people. But then when you need them, or when you need value, none of those people that you see around you create any form of value for you. Rather, they're draining, they're taking away. And for me, really, what networking is a connection of people who add value to each other. So that's simply for me. So all that we have said about sharing opportunities, sharing, sometimes all you even need from your network is just somebody to call, to say, hi, how are you doing? And it could just be a very low time for you. And all you needed at that time was a little, just some understanding, just somebody to talk with, to free some space in your head, to be able to think ahead, to be able to chart the way forward. But when you look at your network and like, oh, think about this person. Oh, no, 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 that's the last one. Think about the, no, don't even go near that. Think about, no, no, no. And bringing all of these people together, you find out that your network really is not doing anything for you. So there's nothing to leverage on. They're not adding anything. And I would say that in picking or in building your network, just like the way we network computer systems in organizations, in the way they're networked is for them to be able, for each one to be able to provide some support for the other. You can send something from your laptop or your computer system directly to the printer. If the printer is not picking it up, then there is no value in that network. So when we build our network, or when we put together the people we call our network, then we should consciously be looking at people that I can add something to, and they can add something back to me.
Thank you very much. So much has been said from the definition of networking and network and leveraging our network. And we have a comment from Olumide Olushola. It said humans are the 21st century currency. So networking is about raising social capital. It's easier to show it up when you pay it forward. That is, give value, be selfless, and you will attract what you give. Absolutely. And we've had our experts also allude to that fact. Now let's get to a different point. Now that we've all said giving and all those things, I'd like to find out, especially for educators. I know it's easier in other sectors and professions, but I think that in education, almost all through the year, it seems to be scripted for the average educator. Apart from going to work every day and all that, you have first term, second term, third term, or first semester, second semester. You pretty much do not have what you call leave. You better still to say you have vacation. So how can we leverage our networking using the existing calendar, or better still, existing routine that is pushed to us by the profession that we have? I want to ask Dr. Motola to give a feedback on that, on the question I just asked.
I think that's a good question, and I'll answer it through the lens of what I've experienced and both as like a student and now as a teacher or professor. Because you're right, our calendar has scripted, but I think within it there are so many opportunities that we miss. The truth of the matter is, like, even irrespective of how busy we are and all the agendas we have to do on a daily basis, we still have time within that we can intentionally create for that opportunity. So you can like imagine a group of teachers in science class or whatever, or teaching science subjects. What if they meet once a week, even if just for 45 minutes or 1 hour, to share ideas and instead of this is what I read, or this is what I'm going to, this is an idea that I'm thinking of doing, or can we collaborate together on this and try this new way of explaining things to students. I don't think like sparing 45 minutes to 1 hour in a week, like imagine 24 hours times 7, like it is possible, it is doable, and it can be within the school hour, because it's not every single minute that they are in school that they teach. Everybody have their own time of, okay, you teach on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or you teach Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, or you teach Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there can be a time where people, they can come together and just have that opportunity. So that's one way. Another one can even be through school initiative, like having intentional, like specific, like we do a lot of like teachers meetings, department meetings, or like school meetings for like teach, like sometimes I think those things need to be revamped and we all to make it better, to make it more productive, and less of telling teachers what to do or what they are not doing well, or what, like it can be an opportunity for brainstorming. Like imagine, even if it's a school of, like let's say they have 100 teachers, if within a meeting they can break into different group and then ask people to brainstorm through some ideas and meet other people from other departments or other area of specialty, and or they can even create like opportunity where you do master class where teachers can, each week a teacher from different department can present a topic. I know in the university they do inaugural lectures when the professor reach a big height or something, but it doesn't have to get there. They can start then like there and co-learn and co-train and co-educate each other through that process. So those are some of the ways that I think they can leverage what they already have and create those opportunity for network and connection.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Ugochi this question, and knowing fully well that Ugochi has given examples, personal examples, and I know Ugochi is one person that does not take networking for granted. Ugochi, are there habits that can lead to awesome networking? If there are, could you share some habits? Oh, Ugochi, the internet decided to network her. Okay, so let me ask. Okay, she's back now. She's back now. Ugochi. So
Can
please
you
could you
imagine
share
this network? Really good style. Please, what were you asking me? I beg.
I said what are the habits that can lead to awesome networking? Habits for networking.
Okay. First things first, be a person of value. When you meet people or you are anywhere, always think of how to help the other person. And then another thing I find is, as you go about your life, your normal life, maybe you're moving around on social media doing stuff. If you see something that is going to benefit someone else, even if they have not asked you, but when you saw it, because you know what they do, you know it benefits them, share it with them. That's what makes it that when people ask you questions, you always have an answer, because you saw something online, right? And you saw that it was going to benefit them. So people know that, oh, you always have a response, you always have a solution. So don't always wait for maybe the solution to only be from you before you share. If you see somebody else on social media doing something fantastic, or you are somewhere, you happen to be somewhere, a conversation is being had about people that maybe will speak at an event, or people that would do the other, people that have so and so skill sets, recommend the people in your network. Just be that person that is always looking for opportunities to be a source of help to other people. I always say that you will reap what you sow, not necessarily where you sow. Many times people get discouraged from helping other people because maybe they have helped in the past and the person didn't even say thank you. And even expect you to pay them money. At least just acknowledge that it was somebody that mentioned your name somewhere, right? But it's not about that. Whether they acknowledge you or not, you are doing the right thing. You are doing what is going to help someone else. Because personally, I believe that this is how we are all going to pull ourselves up. This is how we're all going to grow and be those influential people. Just imagine that one of us here now on this call becomes a minister of education tomorrow. By extension, all of us are going to get involved in solving the problems in this country because we know what to do. And that's because you showed value when it was possible. You showed up always on the Good Morning Education show. You shared inside were practical. So when someone gets into a position of influence, they would remember, right? So be a person of value. When you see something that is going to benefit other people, share with them. And then what else are we going to add again? What else? Okay, well, those two work.
Okay, so let me ask Finn. Finn, I know that there are times that personalities of different individuals tend to kick in, and you get people feeling confused or acting unsure. Because let's say, for example, the issue of lobbying can come into the context. Is lobbying the same thing as networking? Will networking sometimes require lobbying, or will lobbying sometimes require networking? Because there are things that you want to get to do. Why is me looking like I'm asking Jam question? There are times the things that you want to do might require. Someone says, you know what, I don't like sucking up to people. I'm a quiet person. I don't like to be seen. I don't like putting my face out there. What do you have to say to educators, to individuals, professionals out there who sometimes their taste or appetite when it comes to putting themselves out there, especially lobbying, they tend to shortchange themselves? What's your feed on that?
I think lobbying and networking are interrelated and can be codependent. Sometimes you lobby through your network, and sometimes you network. You
As you lobby.
you build a network from your lobbying sometimes. So they're interrelated and codependent. But yes, as humans, we have different personalities. We have different sometimes we have reservations about certain things. I would say to educators, one thing that is quite common about educators is this competitive spirit. We need to put aside competition. We need to, for it to not to look like, oh, if I talk to this person now that I need this thing, or that I need their help, or I need their favor, it reduces my worth, or they will talk about me and I don't want to be talked about, and all of those things. We need to put that aside. But I would say that as much as we're putting aside the our reservations and saying, oh, I'm a quiet person, I don't talk, or I like to be by myself, I like to figure things out for myself, I'm an independent person. None of us is completely independent. But as much as we do that, we should also not lose ourselves. We should also not lose our self-dignity. So if you feel like, or at any point in time, your lobbying or your networking is taking away from you as a person, is infringing on your right, maybe it's opening you up to ridicule, unnecessary ridicule, not just saying, oh, they asked me to come back next week, and then you see it as a ridicule. No, but it's beginning to get abusive. Then at those points, you need to step back. But then we should really work on our inhibitions. We should work on those things that will hold us back, because really nobody can make it. I don't believe in this thing of saying that somebody's self-made. Well, we're not self-made. Along the line, we need somebody to hold our hands. We need someone to pull us up. We need someone maybe to even just give us a push on the back to say, don't worry, I'm there, I'm with you, I'm going all the way with you. So that's what I'll say to educators.
And if I follow what you say, I think that in examination, we might also need to extend networking in our examinations as well. So maybe
Exactly.
Jam can take a leap on that. Since you said nobody is self-made, we should not do exam or now, we should network. Safety check. If you have any exam that you're writing, I can be your hero. Anyway, that was just
Jam can take many leaves from many places.
Oh my goodness. That's what I like to do. It's been an interesting conversation, absolutely interesting. Thank you to those who joined. Eunice, thank you. Olushola Olumide, thank you. Abigail Solomon, thank you all for joining. Titi coming in and then sharing our thoughts. Thank you, Titi. Definitely thank you, Ugochi. Thank you, Dr. Motola. Thank you, Fee. Thank you to Rotimi as well. And thank you, Internet. And I believe that this kind of conversation is not something we just listen to. I think everyone should try to practice some of the tips that has been shared. Fantastic counsel, fantastic information from the conversation of today. And in ending, I would leave us with this word from Patutomi. Many years ago, I got to hear him say that in 2006. He said, "Your network will determine your net worth." So your network, the kind of network you have, will ultimately determine your net worth as an individual, as an organization, as a group of people, even as a nation. And so let's be deliberate about people and how we leave them and how we meet them. And let's make move towards others first. Keeping quiet in the world of social media where everybody ducks their head down just to be typing on the phone, even in a gathering where you have hundreds of people. Sometimes you just see that everybody is on their phone and nobody is talking to each other. Networking should actually be something that is leveraged on. It's not something that should be head knowledge. We should make it our life experience. And so we'll be here tomorrow and we will have another exciting time on the show. And until then, keep networking and keep being who you are. So ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen, it's time for us to say goodbye. This is the favorite part of Fiyin Falodun, and we must do justice to it so she has a great day. All right, at the count of 2, we say goodbye and say it's a great day. 1, 2, go.
It's always a great
Always a
day
great morning
on
on
the
the
Good
Good Morning
Morning
On the
Education
good
Show.
Show.
morning.
Have a
All right.
wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye,
Give your
everyone.
fans
Bye.
bye.